Welcome to Asen Talk today. So today we are going to present you about learning strategy in COVID-19 pandemic. I'm Dr. ลำพอง กลมก Acting Director for Research Information and Academic Service, Asen Study Center, and also the lecturer from Faculties of Education, มหาจุฬาลงกรณราชวิทยาลัย University. So it's kind of like very interesting right now because we are going during the periods of the COVID-19 pandemic. So the effects of the COVID-19 can affect to many aspects, all kinds of fields, social, culture, economic, political, and everything. So including education as well. So how is the institution or educational institution plan and to help students in terms of develop the student learning? So we can see that about more than 1.5 million students and learners across the world are affected by the school and university closed due to the COVID-19 outbreak. So on this situation, how the school and higher educational institute to carry on with their teaching and learning activities. So during this socio-economic and cultural and health crisis, and also how do they address for the future teaching and learning. So we'll see about I would like to talk about the concept when we are going to plan to develop the curriculum. Normally, we have to set up the curriculum that including about the content knowledge and the content knowledge integrated with pedagogical knowledge and also technological knowledge. We can see that right now teacher cannot leave only content knowledge. Teacher need to know about pedagogical knowledge in terms of teaching students, to teach them to manage the classroom, to make an effective learning activity in the classroom. So during this time, it is quite challenging to all the teachers because they need to apply the process of teaching and learning by integrating the technological knowledge. Same as right now, so I have to do like live teaching because we need to keep the spread of the social distancing. We cannot stay close together during this time. So online learning had come and become more effective during this time. So when the teacher have to do like online learning or teaching, how can they set up the activity to make it effective for the student? And also how the student prepare themselves to be ready in terms of learning by using online. Because during this time we cannot ignore the situation is still during the pandemic. But however, after the post-COVID-19, what we are going to do after the post-COVID-19, in my opinion, I think the teacher and lecturer, both in school and higher education all around the world, they need to integrate or apply their teaching activity in terms of cooperate with each other. Well, actually, we said the word blended learning. We use the word blended learning. Blended learning mean like the teacher can teach both online and offline together, same as I'm doing right now. For example, last week I taught PhD student. I have one of my students. She is in the United States and she cannot come and attend the class because the situation of COVID-19 pandemic is made her she cannot get any flight to come back to Thailand and attend the class. So she attend the class via online. I use the Google Meet to teach, and also in the classroom I also do offline because her friends come. I mean all the students that most of them are venerable or monk, and then only one of my students in the United States, and then some of them are laymen. So students can combine and prepare themselves to learn, and the teacher have also prepared. I prepare myself to prepare all the learning sources, to prepare how to use the technological knowledge. I remember that before we starting the class in the new semester, I have been trained about how to teach online and apply multimedia in terms of the technique to propose how we gonna manage on the computer via online platform. So this technique had become more effective. The program that I use and normally use to monitors for the student, we use Google Meet for communication real time with the student. In addition, we also have Google Classroom. The Google Classroom is very more effective for my teaching because I can set, I can record my teaching and then I put in the Google Classroom, and then all the PowerPoint presentation or the worksheet and everything activity I can put in the Google Classroom for the student to follow up the teaching. So this is the example that for my teaching. Well, actually we have Thai scholar Dr. Wasi, he had mentioned how the Thai people or how the learner to prepare themselves in order to manage themselves for the for the new normal. Then he has said 7 aspects of the new normal. The first one is just about new consciousness, the new consciousness, and the next one is new perception. Okay, new perception, we have to know all the things, to communicate, to connect the thing that we receive from different sources of the media. Next one is about new thinking. We cannot be the same, so how we think about the new thing, we need to change our mind, how we do the new creative thinking, so that everyone have to set up the new thinking. Learner or teacher, lecturer, and also next one is the new action. So we have to do the new action. If you don't like to learn online, you have to be able and prepare yourself to learn online. If you don't know how to set up or download any program online, you have to prepare yourself. You have to learn because it's needed for today learning. So new purpose, you have to set up mindset in terms of set up your goal about the learning. For example, you cannot come to the class to join the group class. We cannot do any group activity at all, actually, because of the condition of the social distancing. But now you have to prepare yourself, or we can use online group working instead of the classroom group working. So next one is new system of living, how we're gonna live together in terms of calm and joy in the classroom. We have the space, we have the thing to protect ourselves, to be safe. Well, we not just only learn, but we need to reconsider how to save yourself, to protect about virus corona or COVID-19. So, and the next one, how this is quite very important. New eras of mankind. You're going to be the new eras of mankind. So the post-COVID-19 can change everything. Well, education aspect as well. Well, now we go through there's some keyword and the guideline that actually this one have been proposed for a long time, but right now is more effective. Well, the letter is quite small. You can see this. This is the taxonomy used to classify the curriculum and the professional development resource. So this one had been proposed for a long time, but right now it's very more effective. Like it's have like the cognitive skill, interpersonal skill, and interpersonal skill. So how student learn, teacher need to prepare the student. But however, in ASEAN or in Thailand, we also focus about learning in the 21st century. How the teacher to prepare students to be the learner in the 21st century. So the concept of this, the Ministry of Education in Thailand, well, actually Singapore had put the 3R and 7C. But in Thailand, we have set add more C. We have 3R and 8C. The last C is the word compassion. Compassion is related to morality. This one is very important, especially our university, มหาจุฬาลงกรณราชวิทยาลัย University. Our university, we not just only teach the student to know about knowledge, but we also train them to be effective or to be ready for the person in the future by integrating Buddhist integration in their daily life. Well, in addition, especially graduate school, when they have to do their research, students cannot complete their research or dissertation without applying Buddhist integration. All the thesis or dissertation or the variable in the research, students have to put in the research principle in order to study and to connect between the variable in the conceptual framework of the research. Then in our university, every single student of our graduate student, they have been trained by applying the Buddhist principle. And then when they design the research design, they have to try to interpret the meanings of the Buddhist principle to make the research. For example, if they want to make the questionnaire, that questionnaire have to ask about the concepts of Ittibada 4. Well, the word of Ittibada 4 is kind of like very abstract. But in terms of doing the research, the researcher or the student, they can write the definition of the word Ittibada that related for, the daily life. And then after that, they can make the questionnaire that they make. After that, they can give to the expert to assess about how correlate between questionnaire and the meaning. Then we can use the term of Buddhist principle to apply in the research as well. So yes, let's come to the term of student assessment. Before, when we study in the classroom, students need to wait for the teacher to assess themselves or to tell them, okay, this is right, this is wrong, you have to do this and that. But right now, students not just only, waiting for the teacher to assess yourself. The student can assess oneself by when they do their work, they can check themselves. Is their work correct? Is it right? Or they can improve. This is the term of assessment. The word that we normally use for assessment is the word reflection. Well, the word reflection is that not mean like teacher reflect to the student, but the reflection can combine. Student can also do their own reflection. we use the word self-reflection. Self-reflection is mean when the student do something and then they use like critical thinking to reconsider what they have done, and then they try to adjust themselves and then after that there's kind of like try to make the new action in terms of to develop themselves. It's quite different from the word feedback. If the word feedback is mean like feedback from the teacher or from the other, and the word feedback, the teacher not gonna tell about how to improve. But if the teacher use the word reflection, it means the teacher can tell, okay, student, your progress is like this, so the next step you have to develop more in terms of how to manage yourself or to learn in terms of the content for the next step. So right now for the post-COVID-19 pandemic, in terms of the assessment, the word reflection is very important that student can integrate for their learning. One important thing that I'm going to point to about the step of professional learning community. In education, we have talked about professional learning community. This community is the gathering between our teacher, lecturer who have learned the new thing and come and join together. I bring this one, the word professional community, into MCU. How are we going to develop the professional learning community in MCU? As a lecturer in Faculty of Education, มหาจุฬาลงกรณราชวิทยาลัย University, I would like to propose this idea at the step of professional learning communities. This one I have been written from my research. So I have got like the research from actually the Research Council National of Thailand. So during in 2015, and then I have complete my research project, and I developed the course for teacher training course in 2017, and 2018 I used it in for the workshop. In 2019 we have got the course from the Ministry of Education. We have trained the teacher, and because we are MCU, the step of doing this we apply by using the Buddhist integration in terms of educational development for the teacher training. Actually, the teacher that apply to our course, they are full-time teacher. So I use the step to develop them in terms of workshop, and we use the research base for the workshop. There are 6 steps. The first one is about we train the teacher to know the roles of Buddhist way teacher, how the teacher in Buddhist way to develop themselves. And the next step is when the teacher they know that how they're going to do like in terms of teacher learning, I mean Buddhist teacher. Well, actually in Thai word we call like ครูโรงเรียนวิถีพุทธ something like this. So when they teach in the Buddhist school, and then the next one for the next step, they can like adjust themselves to follow by the 3-4 training. 3-4 training is the Buddhist principle that they can apply to help the student, to support the student to develop their learning, including not just only body but including mind and also wisdom as well. And next step there is to learn to be the best practice. The teacher be trained to be best practice. They not just only trained by themselves, they also share with the communities. And then the next one is about the step 4 is to change a good attitude into Buddhist way. To change the attitude into Buddhist way, because all the teachers that they come and train. They come from. I mean, actually, the school is the government school, but this school they get involved with the program of Buddhist school from มหาจุฬาลงกรณราชวิทยาลัย University. They come and train, and then for the next step, when they have changed their attitude, they move to they can integrate Buddhist principle into their classroom. Every single classroom, the teacher use the Buddhist principle to manage their classroom to make not just only, to train students, not just only the content, but also to train the student about moralities as well. And the last one, finally, this is very important. Teachers apply classroom action research in terms of create Dhamma innovation. The Dhamma innovation is mean they apply classroom action research to develop teacher the research innovation in their classroom in order to help the student and to support them of their learning. So classroom action research become most important, especially right now. For this, I have some example. I have one of the the group of the graduate school who come for the teacher training course. The student had learned about how, one course with me. During this situation, I try to encourage students to make the innovation by doing the classroom action research. And one important thing, I point to them that they have to make the innovation that are appropriate to support their students during the post-COVID-19 pandemic. So I think this is the time that I can share you related to education. But I also would like to talk about the experience for my research that I have done in MCU. My research I started since April when the situation of COVID-19 in our university we have the technique and the process to control, to look after the people in our university. Also, because we have a lot of students to stay with us, especially Asen students, they stay in the dormitory. Well, I have done my research project, and the project we study not just only how to look or take care of the health. We also go through about the teaching as well. Because according to the situation, the government have announced that we cannot do any teaching in our university. So during that time, I have actually we have the course for the teacher training course that we do online. We do online course. We have done it quite well. Teacher and student have to come and learn from each other in order to carry on to make the course go through during the situation of COVID-19. And the results that I have been collected from both teacher and the learner is quite interesting because teacher take advantage of this situation to train themselves to teach with the online media or online platform. The students prepare themselves. They have to adjust themselves to learn with the effective process by using online media. So it's quite interesting that our university but people may know that, oh wow, actually MCU is like traditional style. But right now we not just only, we don't be like that. We apply online sources or online media platform to be part of our teaching. We have the staff, especially IT, ICT, technical people. They have like train us or the lecturer to be to be professional in terms of the teaching. We have done like online teacher training for all the lecturer in our university in terms of to be ready to prepare. And then right now, even the situation had been go over, so we combine the word that I'm gonna let you and push you at the last part before my talk is about blended learning. So right now, all the lecturer in our university, I think they try to do the blended learning. The blended learning is mean the teacher can teach online simultaneous, actually in parallel with offline, as I told you at the beginning, because even though that we open right now our university, students come to the class, but some of them still cannot come because different situation still happen. So even though further than this, for the post-COVID-19 teacher, I think they can apply and continue doing this for the blended learning. Especially in my class, even though students come to the class, I still use online teaching in parallel with the offline. I also use the classroom, Google Classroom, to help the student and to monitor their learning for the assessment or for learning activities. I also keep in touch with the student via the online platform and do the assessment through the platform as well. It's kind of like very interesting, and I think the COVID-19 has changed the situation of teaching and learning. Not just only our university. I think in Thailand and all over the world, we also have changed. So lastly, teacher, learner, they have to change themselves. They have to adjust how to make the learner to be like to learn, how to make the learner to learn with effectively via online platform or blended learning technique. Well, for the Asen Talk today, I think this is enough for sharing the idea. It's just the beginning. Actually, we can see each other in Asen Talk for the, next episode or next version. I'm glad to be here today to share the idea that I have done before in this university and my experience. I hope that the talk today will be one part of the idea to bring the learner and the lecturer to develop yourself to make more effective teaching and learning during the post-COVID-19 pandemic situation. So thank you very much for listening to my Asen Talk, and see you again next time. จะบอกว่าพูดไปพูดมาเฮ้ยกี่นาทีแล้วเรื่องเลยเฮ้ยตรงนี้มันมีนาทีก็เลย
เดี๋ยวครั้งนี้เขาบอกเองอาจารย์